When we got to preparing scenarios for South Australia to 2040, we decided to use a matrix where one of the axes, the vertical axis, was around economic development and growth, and the horizontal axis was around quality of life. Now, obviously, a lot of the people at the session felt that the best scenario mixed the two, had a high quality of life element, but equally had plenty of economic development. And obviously that, when you looked at the flags, meant that one had to start creating an entrepreneurial culture in South Australia, and as I said, possibly seeking entrepreneurs from other countries in the Asian region. We also had a virtuous scenario, which was that you didn't have the economic growth and development, but you still had the quality of life, but it would mean a genteel decline in the state of South Australia, particularly in its economy. But it could be handled, and it could be handled well, and South Australia could become a place for people to retire to with dignity. And yeah, that was one of the other virtuous scenarios considered. The problem with that scenario was that it could easily switch into a more negative scenario where people really did leave the state because they didn't see any economic opportunities, and therefore the population of South Australia could be significantly lower by 2040, in which case the state would become more like a ghost state, and the economy would be considered really a failing economy. So people didn't know which way it would go, whether it would be the genteel decline or something harsher than that. And then we had a scenario where one of the flags I talked about in a global sense, the anti-establishment flag, really started going up the flag post, which is where the state became more unequal, and that inequality in living standards in the state contained the possibility for more unrest, more unhappiness, the absolute opposite of human well-being, and that was the worst case scenario. And when we actually attached probabilities based on the current flags, we felt that that last scenario was low probability, maybe only 10%. The one that most people felt was in play at the moment was the genteel decline, and they gave that around an 80% probability. So that doesn't leave much at the moment for the virtuous scenario of entrepreneurial growth and transforming the South Australian economy into one of the most exciting in Australia. But that's why you do this exercise. So we spent a lot of time on the options that should be looked at in order to take the state to a new level of creativity in industry. And the question now is how we put those options into a public debate and then obviously implement the best ones to take South Australia towards the path of the virtuous scenario and away from the possibility of the very negative scenario.